So here's a question. Do you think that you are deluded? As an individual, do you think that you are very, very often deluded? If not entirely deluded about what you think reality is? How many times have you been surprised? How many times have you been proved wrong? How many times is it that it's been brought to your attention that you haven't got a single clue about what people are speaking about? What do you know about science? What do you know about cosmology? What do you know about psychology? What do you know about philosophy? What do you know about medical fraternity in any shape or form? What do we know? Aren't we just living in delusions? And even people who think they know things about science and the medical fraternity, well, they've just been programmed by people that thought they knew before. But it seems to me that every time I've been to the doctor, they've never managed to diagnose anything that I've had. And how many people have we spoken to, or do we know, that suffer from mentalisms, and there's never been a single psychiatrist on the globe that's managed to solve any of those problems either? So is everybody just in a delusion about what they think they know? I think they are. Scientists, I've listened to so many scientist debates and gatherings and things like that. And Neil deGrasse Tyson has held one such event for 17 years, and he gets people like philosophers and quantum physicists and cosmologists and different people from different strains of science. And at the end, he asked them all, so where do we think we're going from here? Or how confident are you that you know what you're speaking about? And he's kind of like, yeah, that's it. That's it. Nobody has a clue. They're only theorising about anything. And for those of you who are religious out there, and there's still a few hanging around, you see, the religious people, they are terrified of reading anything else outside of their religious dogma, and they are absolutely explicitly instructed not to do so, because it's all the makings of the devil. But the paradox is, you see, with Christians, for instance, that they believe I and the Father are one. Jesus and the Father are one. And it's the Father, the Son, and it's the Holy Ghost. And they believe absolutely in all that. And so if they believe in all that, then, that Jesus is the Father, then they absolutely have to believe in the whole of the Old Testament. But they don't. They just want to cherry pick, and they just want to have an adherence and a belief system and an allegiance to the New Testament. Why? Because the New Testament makes it all so simple. Just believe in Jesus and then you're saved. People like that shit. They like one-liners, don't they? Just believe in me and then you're saved. Oh, okay, great. You know, I'm a Christian. You know, well, because I'm going to be saved. Obviously. But the Jews don't have an adherence to Jesus. They don't consider him the Messiah for many reasons, and most certainly not the Son of God. And so, well, have they got it all wrong? Have the Muslims got it all wrong? Have Buddhists got it all wrong? Have any other of the 4,200 religions on the planet got it all wrong? Or do they have it right in their own right? And how could that possibly make manifest? Well, through their own delusions. Everybody can be right through their own delusions, people. And so when you see religious people debating vehemently, they've never, ever, ever got any reasonable, logical, structured defence for their indoctrination, because they can't have, because it's completely illogical, it's irrational, none of it makes an iota of sense if you apply a rational mind to it. So they throw the rational mind out and then they cling on to their beliefs and their delusions. And when they enter into debate, it's all hot air and emotion and anger, because they can't really, using the rational mind that most of us have been given, they can't utilise that to defend their belief. It just doesn't work. And as much as Jordan Peterson tries almost every day of his life to make this bullshit work, it only works in his mind. And normal, rational thinking people, intelligent people, just look at him and go, "Oh, Peterson, you really are, just extending a giant leap of faith and bullshit with all this crap and influences that you're manifesting out of something which just isn't there. It just isn't there, mate." So he's deluded in his own right. And the thing is, if these people are supposed to be intelligent, then why don't they look across the whole board? I mean, I know Peterson with John Paggio and, people like that they have these gatherings and they're discussing, the Bible and all its intricacies and this, that and the other, and yet they just don't seem to see the paradox. They don't seem to see the contradiction. They don't want to. And I remember Peterson on one occasion speaking about the Garden of Eden, and reading that it explicitly stated, Yahweh stated that Adam and Eve must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But he also told them that they must not eat from the tree of life. And Peterson says, "I don't know what that means." And he has never, ever, ever addressed that. Because, well, it leads to one region, doesn't it? Hate. And devilish beguiling and suppression of information, because it clearly states in the Genesis that if they eat from this tree, then they will become like us, and that's the last thing jealous gods want anyone to be. And so all these people across the board, Sam Harris, how deluded was Sam Harris in relation to COVID? People think like, "Oh, Sam Harris, yeah, he's up there." He's full of shit. The guy's had, one psychedelic experience, maybe two, on small amounts, and he hasn't got anything profound to say about it at all. He does a bit of meditation, and he's supposed to be spiritual, and he's non-religious, and he's atheist, and this, that, and the other, and yet he bought into the religion of scientism. He absolutely bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. He was balls deep in Fauci's asshole. And I was listening to Candice Owens on her podcast, and she was speaking about when she fell out with Harris, because she's completely delusional. And, they were having, this and that with each other, and then one of their intermediate friends said to him, "Look, you guys, why don't you just speak to each other?" So she phoned him up, and then he went off on one about everybody's going to be dying in the streets, there's going to be billions of people dead on this planet, and this and the other, and he was all masked up, and he was never left his house, and all this stuff. He proper was balls deep in Fauci's asshole. Oh my God, I completely lost any fucking notion of respect for that dude as soon as that came about. Deluded. And even now, with all the information, he hasn't made a public apology. He hasn't set the record straight in that, yeah, I fucked up, I was wrong. I was beguiled by scientism and, certain people, because there were certain professionals, trust the science, who were saying, "Oh yes, this is a terrible thing." But then there was a vastly equal amount of intelligent people going, "This is bullshit." And I can tell you exactly why it's bullshit. And some of the most educated people in these whole realms of virology and all that sort of stuff, they've been in the game for 40 years and wrote hundreds of papers and got all different sorts of degrees and different stuff. And they were saying it's a crock of shit from beginning to end, it's a manufactured thing. Delusions, people, delusions. And I keep saying it, but I never get any of you to respond, do I? You just don't respond. It's like you're all dead. And that's what's going to lead me on to my next monologue. Because you're so firmly seated in your delusions, and you're on autopilot, you're all automaton, the vast majority of you. I mean, look, I always speaking to the vast majority. There's a handful, literally, you know, probably this or this, of my viewers that you know, get any of the stuff in a broad spectrum. Most of you are just, well, you're not there yet, you're not there yet. And so you cling to the delusions that your partner loves you. You cling to delusions that you're a solid entity. You cling to the delusion that the world is round, and you know, all sorts of things. Now, I'm not an advocate for the flat earth, but I look at the flat earth and I listen to people equally. And I was listening to debates with this dude called Professor Dave. He's such an obnoxious twat. Got millions and millions of subscribers, and all he does is slags people off. He's a proper automaton, believing in all the stuff you would expect an automaton to believe in. But Professor Dave presented to Flat Earth Dave, who's got the biggest platform for flat earth on the internet. Professor Dave said to him, look, when you're in the northern hemisphere of the globe, the stars go anti-clockwise. Okay, if you look up at the centre of the North Pole, the stars go anti-clockwise. And when you're on the South Pole, looking at the southern hemisphere, they go clockwise. So that's very indicative of a globe. And that is irrefutable, because the stars do go round one way and then round the other way. But then you see, he wouldn't listen to at all Flat Earth Dave when he was speaking about, well, okay, you say that the world's a globe, and so there's a channel you can go on the internet which does all the math about working out how the curvature of the world drops off with distance, okay? And so they say it drops off 8 inches per mile, and so if you've got like 10 miles, then it drops off 80 inches. 80 inches is quite a distance, isn't it? You know, let's say, what, 6 feet or something like that. And so if you can imagine 20 miles when you're looking through a telescope and there has been no curvature at all, how do we answer that, people? The curvature isn't there. And so what I say in relation to this is that this confirms my conviction that the world is paradoxical, and there is in actual fact nothing here, and I'm always saying there's nothing here, and I can reiterate why there's nothing here, because if there was really something here, then real intelligent people would have a consensus on what is here, but they don't. And so you try to get a consensus with intelligent people. I have never, ever, ever in all my life listened to a consensus of people's real knowledge. Oh, sure, they can have a consensus about, oh, the speed of light is this, that and the other, because they've just done the fucking same math. But who can prove the math? And I've stated in previous occasions that human beings have had at least 3 different variants for the speed of light, and so there's every good reason that we can expect it to change again with new technology, with new variants of math and this and the other. And so I don't believe a single thing, not a single thing, because if you just look back at history, when they thought they knew everything about the cosmos, you know, a couple hundred years ago, and now scientists, oh yeah, we know this and we know that, and you say, what do you really know? Tell us about, you know, the constituents of the cosmos. Well, we know a little bit about 4%. You know a little bit about 4%, and even that 4% is very, very debatable, because there's certain scientists that say that actually that 4% doesn't even exist, because the 4% that they think they know about is what they constitute as matter, and there is no matter, and their colleagues tell them that there's no matter. And so when you've got a scientist in one room saying that there's no physical matter, and then you've got scientists in another room believing in the physical matter and all this, what do you do? What do, people? You just have to accept that everybody is in their own delusion. And that's why we can't see eye to eye. That's why we can't build a world. That's why we can't have political truth. That's why we can't have scientific truth. That's why we can't have religious truth. We can't have any psychological truth. We can't have any philosophical truth. We can't have any truth, because truth is just an illusion. And it pertains to the delusion of human consciousness. And so let me lead on to how long has this been? Can't see, there's no timer on it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up, and then I'm going to speak on another one, because I want this heading. So this one is going to be headed, why are people so deluded? Because there is no reality, and it couldn't be any other way, people. It absolutely couldn't be any other way, because everything is an individuated projection of a delusion, and a self-created illusion. And you know, we can instantiate this with so many occasions. I've just spoken about religion and scientists and philosophy and biology and physics and chemistry and all that sort of stuff, and invariably they're not agreeing on anything. And so, well, you go, well, one of two things is happening. Either things aren't the same, there are in actual fact different worlds, everybody sees the different world, or everybody is deluded in their perception. They're not seeing the same thing. And so because we all apparently share consciousness en masse, we think that there's a world en masse, but the fact of it is we have individuated states of consciousness, and we can't get outside of our individuated states of consciousness. We can't share another person's, so we could never really get inside the mechanics of their mind, their psyche, to see what they're about. But what we know is, of course, is because we've all travelled our own journey, or rather we've all created our own journey. And so the world to us is individuated. We've only been to certain countries, to certain towns. We've only experienced certain things. We've only gathered certain knowledge. We've only studied certain things. You know, we've only read certain books. And so we only see a certain world. Am I reaching you, people? Do you have anything to say on this? Or is this too vast for you? It's just too big, isn't it? I just think it's too big. You know, fuck's sake, where are the intelligent people on this channel? You know, it all seems so very, very crystal clear to me. So if any of you that think that I'm deluded and I've got it wrong, well, come and have a chat about it and state to me clearly where I've got it wrong. I haven't got it wrong. Anyone that thinks they're in a physical world and that, you know, we're all seeing the same things and sharing the same things are absolutely deluded. And any half-decent philosopher or psychologist or scientist will be able to prove this absolutely irrefutably, because there is nothing the same as far as the perception goes, of course. And so when we look at ourselves, and if you are Christians or Muslims or you're atheists or you're Buddhists or you're scientists or you're psychologists, whatever you are, then, you know, you are a group of, unless of course you're a philosopher, you're a group of biases, you're a group of unfounded convictions, because that's all the human being is, a conglomerate of unfounded convictions. You know, you go out on any given day and say, "Fuck, this is fucking freezing." And they go, "What's wrong with you?" "I've only got a t-shirt on and I'm warm." Well, are you living in the same world? "Oh, well, of course we're living in the same world, but they just feel it different." Well, if they feel it different, if they see it different, if they sense it different, if they intuit it different, then it's fucking different, isn't it? They're not living in the same fucking world. See? You can't keep dismissing all this stuff. Oh, well, that because that because I can't believe in the same world. No, you can touch the table. There is no table. There is no fucking spoon, people. So what's my frustration here? The lack of intelligence. The lack of intelligence. You know, this is the curse of the genius, the curse of the very awoken being, the enlightened being that just sees that everything is foolery. It's just a cosmic giggle. It's just a joke from beginning to end, and everybody's just playing their role on the play or stage of life. So, what do you have to say about that? Do you think about this shit? Have you realised this shit? Do you agree with this shit? Do you denounce this shit? Why? Why do you denounce it? What do you know that's real? What do you fucking know that's real? You think you're real? Well, just take a few leaves out of René Descartes' philosophy and then come back and tell me that you think you're real. You're a joke, people. The world's a joke, the cosmos is a joke, but it's a beautiful, fun game. Doesn't mean that we all have to kill ourselves because it's a fucking joke. No, it means that we have to enjoy ourselves because it's a fucking joke. And there is no such thing as death because there's no such thing as life. And so, fuck fear. Just fucking, you know, this world is amazing with all these incredible illusions for us to partake in, of taste and sensations and all these different sorts of things. It's all Maya going on inside our heads, people. Why? Well, it's different with every single person we meet, isn't it? If you say, look at that beautiful fucking landscape, man, it's alright. What do you mean it's alright? It's fucking amazing. Well, you obviously aren't seeing the same thing. You're not seeing or experiencing what I'm feeling, are you? So we're not in the same world, are we? We've all got our own worlds, people. Ah, yeah, the delusion of mankind. But you see, there's a billion things to do. And so, well, what should we be doing here? Instead of buying into the bullshit, we should be going, well, okay, this is like some sort of elaborate dream dreamt up in the mind of God. And so, well, if I have any freedom at all, if I have free will, then, well, I'm going to use it. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to travel and I'm going to experience and I'm going to eat all different foods and I'm going to go fuck paying the fucking bills. Fuck, you know, 25 years of a fucking contract to keep me crippled and bound. Fuck this marriage certificate. Fuck it all. There's fucking hundreds of thousands of billions of people that, you know, you can have a relationship with and enjoy this cosmic giggle. And yet people, they've just bought into their narrow parameter of what they think their life is. And it's little old me in this little old world. And I was putting a comment down to one of the viewers who is a thinker and he can articulate himself and it's so refreshing. And I said, you know, you're about the only person that's ever said what you said. I love your channel because, you know, you've got philosophy, you've got psychology, you've got cooking blow, you've got love of animals, you've got nature, you've got foraging, you've got quirky fucking psychology and philosophy. It is endless, the subject matter you deal with, Aaron. Yes, he's the only person ever to say that. What do you say? Well, most of you wankers, you can't even summon up a thumb up, can you? And this is where we get back to again, you know, because I look at what, you know, my videos, and it's absolutely fucking shocking. There must have been something, if you keep coming back to watch my videos, turds, there must be something that's drawing you back. Ask your cocksucking selves what that is. Are my videos serving you? If they're serving you, which they evidently are, if you're watching more than one, then you might want to address that now and again if you find it absolutely possible within your disgusting, embittered, disgruntled, self-serving, pitiful existence. That's what it boils down to, people. I just don't get your fucking, your numb mentality. It's shocking. You know, with my beautiful mind, whenever I watch a video, even if I watch fucking, say, like, I don't know, if I'm watching it, if it's engaging me, bang, thumb up, thumb up. Now and again I'll make a comment, but not often, because, you know, there's no point in making comments unless it's on a small channel, because they won't fucking acknowledge it, or listen to it, or read it, or whatever. There's no point. They're only doing it for fucking numbers in any case. But on a small channel where you've got this opportunity of engaging with the person that's making all these videos, and the vast majority of you don't go there, you can't go there, you won't go there. It's too beyond you, it's too much for you, isn't it? But what's happening today in the world, people? People's minds are becoming absolutely numb with the abundance. And so when spiritual people speak about creating abundance and, oh, this life is abundance and all that, well, at least they've got into the groove of appreciating stuff. Whereas you fuckers out there, I don't think you appreciate any fucking thing. And again, I'm speaking to 95, 98% of you. There's a few of you that do comment regular, that are intelligent, that do engage, and so you know who you are. All those that don't fucking appreciate, that don't comment, that don't engage, you're just turds, aren't you? Because you think that the world is all revolving around you, and the world should keep supplying you with everything. You take for granted that our countries are safe. You take for granted that you can walk down the street without having a sword run through your gizzards to steal your wallet. You take for granted that there's a billion people putting informative information on YouTube, and you just can go, oh, yeah, and not pay any fucking mind the labour and the effort these people are going to present to you all this stuff. Why? Because you're numb. You're absolutely fucking numb with abundance. You're numb with the genius of this world. You're numb with the miracle of the world. You've paradoxically become fucking dead. You've become fucking dead to it, people. When you spiritually awaken up, you become alive. You become alive to every fucking speck and morsel of it. Every fucking vision, every feeling, every sense of whatever we sense, every facet of intuition. We know it's genius. We know it's miracle. We know we are God. We know that we're in the mind of God at the very least. Well, you dumb folks, what do you know? What do you feel? You feel fuck all. Because you slump down in front of the fucking YouTube and you watch some videos and you like that. And nothing touches you. Nothing touches you because I'm spirit. I'm 1,000,000,000% spirit, and you can't be penetrated by spirit. That's absolutely evident. You can't be. And all you're doing is looking for appeasing your own pitiful life by searching your confirmation of your own biases. That's all you're doing. And so that's why it doesn't mean anything to you. Nothing means anything to you because you're only looking for your own confirmation of what you think you know. And then when you confirm it, well, no big deal, I knew that already. You think you're so clever, Aaron. But then when nothing registers with you, when you don't know it, it just goes straight over your fucking head. And so your intelligence is so low that you can't stop to think, fuck, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Let me investigate what this guy's talking about. He's talking about this, talking about that. Let me Google all these things. Let me do some research. Let me read his book. Let me buy his fucking book, see if I know what this guy's talking about. But you don't. You keep watching the fucking videos, not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. What's wrong with you? What is it? What sort of hypnosis do I have over you? What sort of magnetism do I have that keeps drawing you to my videos? And yet you can't engage in any shape or form. You can't even show the slightest bit of affiliation or acknowledgement or appreciation. Nothing. You can't do nothing. I'm sad for your family. I'm sad because every day I know you take them all for granted. Every day I know when your children are growing up, you ain't noticing a fucking thing. I know that every day when one of your fucking partners or best friends does something kind to you, you barely fucking acknowledge it. You just think that's it. That's normal. Oh, my friend's kind. Of course my friend does kind things to me all the time. And that's it. Once you've acknowledged that, oh, your friend's kind, then every act of kindness doesn't touch you, does it? Every single act of kindness should be touching you, motherfuckers. Everyone should be appreciating. Tomorrow they could be dead. You dead numb motherfuckers. You make me sick to my fucking core, you do. Anyway, oh, I've inadvertently slipped into my second video, which is numb with abundance. So, dead cunts, numb with abundance. People are deluded and numb and dumb. Whoa. Well, that's quite an indictment on humanity, isn't it? Really. It really is. And so, people, what I say to you, if you have anybody that is spirited in your life, if you can feel the life in them and you are in contact with their spirit and their intelligence, then respect them and appreciate them, because those sort of people are exceedingly rare. People like us, who can have this level of insight and this intuition and this empathic emergence within people to know how they're feeling and to see how dead or alive they are. Dead or alive. I wonder if I could call that video this. Are you fuckers dead or alive? Interesting, huh? Interesting. Too interesting. Too interesting for you. Too fucking interesting for you, that's for sure. That's for sure. And so, let's carry on as normal, shall we? With 10 comments and 5 fucking thumbs up.